those of you interested in carbon accounting, I have something really cool to show you guys today. Carbon accounting, or the process of calculating how much emissions you as a company has all in all, can now be done in Bezala. Let me show you how. So you go about and insert your expenses just as you normally would. So let's say that you purchased an iPhone and you purchased it for €1,000. As you know, Bezala would normally fill in the purchase type and the cost from the OCR, but now we also fill in the emissions estimate. So this is super cool. You'll see right on the expense form here how much emissions that purchase had. Now, this is calculated by having a coefficient behind the purchase type and multiplying that by the cost. The coefficients that we use come from ADEME, the French database for coefficients, and DEFRA, the British database for coefficients. Let's take another example. Let's say that you booked a flight from Stockholm to Berlin. Now, as you know, flight ticket, this is a little bit more complex. It can cost either €1,000 or €150, depending on when you book it. A normal price to Berlin would probably be something like €300 back and forth from Stockholm. So the €300 would yield an estimate of 357 kilograms of emissions based on the price. But as you can see, Bezala has also shown a couple of other questions that you can fill in to calculate on a much more granular or accurate level. So let's say that this flight was approximately 2,000 kilometers all in all, and it was short haul. That would then yield an emissions estimate of 220 kilograms. Now, this is what's so cool about what we've developed here. Not only can you calculate your emissions based on euro or value-based coefficients, by the way, this works in all currencies that we support, but you can also calculate your emissions much more accurately. And it's just amazing how much you can actually decrease your calculated emissions by calculating more accurately, because the value-based coefficients tend to have a lot more emissions than they actually do. For example, a hotel. If you book a hotel in Northern Europe, it would have a lot less emissions than it would have in Germany or Poland or another country where they heat by using coal, whereas in the north it's done by sustainable renewable energy. So this is really cool, right? And for you guys to get more or better investors or have a competitive edge compared to your competitors, you of course need to start following up how much emissions you have and start reporting on that. The most sustainable alternative will for sure be the one that will win in the long term. So let's have a look at how you can go ahead and set this up. Now, you just go to your chart of accounts and you select the account that you want to set this up for, and then you have to do a mapping between the account and an expense category. Now, there are a bunch of different expense categories here, all using different coefficients and all have some different questions that might be asked of your users. So let's say, for example, that this account was seafare. Then we would ask a couple of extra questions, such as if you had a car with you on the ferry, which will, of course, increase the amount of emissions from that ticket. So yeah, this is what you need to do. You just need to go ahead and map your chart of account purchase types to these expense categories. And based on these, then we will automatically calculate the emissions. The emissions will be shown in the export views. So you will be able to see how much emissions you as a company has had all in all during whatever period of time you want to look at. So this feature is super cool. No one else in the market does this, and you guys are lucky to be Bezala clients and to be the first ones to have this kind of emissions calculation on a much more accurate level out there. So I hope you guys enjoy this feature. Go ahead and map your accounts, get started, and start measuring how much emissions you have today. Thank you for watching.